Hello, everybody. This is Alex from Laughing Place. I'm joined by Fanboy, and we are doing our first ever live puzzle build. This was sent to us by our friends at Ravensburger, and Ravensburger may recall from the Disney Villainous board game. So that's this game right here, lets you play as different villains. And what they recently did was from the first game, there's now 3 versions of Disney Villainous, but from the first game, they took all 6 of the villains, there were 6 of them, and they made a puzzle based on the artwork from the game. So we received puzzles for Ursula, Prince John, Queen of Hearts, Captain Hook, Maleficent, and Jafar. And the first one that we're going to be building is the one for Jafar. The reason being is on Tuesday, September 10th, the original Aladdin and the new live action one are both coming out on Blu-ray and 4K. They're both available on digital already. So sort of to celebrate the upcoming home video release, we're going to be doing this puzzle today for Jafar. That's why we picked him. And there's also a lot of Aladdin stuff going on right now. We just went last night to Painting with a Twist. That's one of those places where you paint, you can drink wine, it's adults only, no kids allowed, and basically the concept, kind of like Ratatouille, is anyone can paint. They kind of have a teacher and you follow along. So this is what we did last night. This was based on Aladdin. So we did this nice crescent moon with this kind of galaxy constellation. Then there's Aladdin and Jasmine over the magic carpet, and you can see Agrabah over to the side. That's the one I did. I have no discernible artistic talent. This is the one Fanboy did, and he also did a great job. I love his hidden Mickey up there, despite the fact that neither of us are artistically inclined in any way, shape, or form. So if you have a Painting with a Twist near you, I recommend checking it out. Now, in addition to the puzzles, Ravensburger sent us this pretty neat puzzle board. And I've never seen one of these before, but it's kind of an ergonomic puzzle building desk where you can lay it up like that. We're going to try building on it just because I think it's pretty neat. I want to see how that goes. If this is something that interests you, you can find that from Ravensburger as well. I guess you'd probably normally say Ravensburger. I come from the Midwest. I grew up in Wisconsin. I'm not very German in my DNA, but I have a very German last name. And so I'm pretty sure Berger is the correct pronunciation. If any of you out there speak German, or if anyone's watching from Germany, correct me if I'm wrong, please. So we'll get rid of the box in just a moment. If anyone likes to pop bubble wrap, let us know. That's just really nice, made of wood. It has this really nice felt backing. Ooh, very nice. And then in the back of it, you can stand it upright. It does have a little ledge on the bottom there, so if you were building it upright, it would be pretty easy to do. We'll clear all the garbage out of the way and leave just the puzzle down. And Fanboy, how long has it been since you've seen Aladdin?
The
original animated classic. I should have been more specific. Let's kind of center this.
I don't know, probably about a year ago.
About a year ago. I want to say the last time I sat through it all the way was when the Diamond Edition came out, which wasn't all that long ago. This new Walt Disney Signature Collection release that comes out Tuesday, it's the second time it's been out on Blu-ray, third time it's been out on DVD, fourth home video release overall since 1993. I think the film came out in 92, but it was a winter release, so that VHS would have been a springtime release.
Hey Alex, you want to know a fun fact I learned yesterday at the Aladdin Paint by Numbers?
Oh, would you like to share, please?
I would. Did you know that despite the fact we put more attention into The Lion King, that Pocahontas made more money?
I was unaware of that fact.
That's because that's not true.
Because it's not true. I think we've all at some point had something that we thought was right that we were wrong about. And our host, our tutor, our instructor for the art project yesterday, decided at some point to give us a round of Disney trivia. And that was a fact that she was, I'll say, very wrong about. which was she thought. I mean, it is there is some truth. She gave one fact. She was really just mixing up the films, but it was that that Pocahontas and Lion King were put into production at the same time, which is true story. We're gonna, by the way, I'm OCD. I always sort out the edges first and build the perimeter of the puzzle.
I found the copyright Disney piece.
Oh, that is the most special piece of all. We have 2 dogs, by the way, so you'll hear some dog noises throughout this puzzle build.
Piece.
Fancy corner piece. But it is true, Pocahontas and Lion King were in animation at the same time. What she said was that they spent more money on Lion King and thought it was going to be the more successful of the 2 films, but in fact, Pocahontas was the better earner of the 2. It's a vicious lie. Pocahontas, I think, is universally known as sort of the first film of the 90s Renaissance era, Rescuers Down Under not included, to sort of underwhelm at the box office and sort of started it on a decline in revenue with each successive film until Tarzan, I think.
I believe you're correct.
Yeah, so, but the one thing that was true about those 2 films is that the animators were kind of fighting to get on Pocahontas. There wasn't a lot of faith in Lion King. And so that's probably where she kind of mixed up the facts a little bit.
You take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and then you have the facts of Disney. The facts of Disney.
Careful, that may be copyright.
So we're monitoring the chat. So if you have any questions or want to talk Disney, it doesn't need to be about Aladdin or the puzzle. Feel free to put them in the chat. We could talk about
Which
chat.
one?
I found something that says Ja.
Ja, as in Jafar. Yes.
Yes.
Jafar. Very good.
So
have you shared this already on our Twitter?
I did.
You did. Perfect. And so, if you guys don't know anything or much about Laughing Place, we're really a Disney fan site. What kind of sets us apart is we cover everything that the Walt Disney Company brings you. So whether it's something on Freeform, which Freeform's doing 30 Days of Disney right now. Aladdin is not part of 30 Days of Disney, probably because it's coming out on Blu-ray in just a couple days. And then, so Freeform, Hulu, now that Disney's majority owner, we cover Hulu.
ESPN, which is currently celebrating its 40th birthday today.
Perfect. 40th birthday of ESPN. We cover, obviously, Disney as the core brand of the Walt Disney Company. And then, now that they bought Fox, we cover anything that Fox does.
So, to be clear, 21st
century Fox.
Not Fox Business,
not News Corp. Yeah, not...
That's the other FAR.
Oh. Well, let's just connect those together. Look at that, we've got progress.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty thrilling.
Dude says, Epcot's last day. Can you talk about that? Well, it's not Epcot's last day, but there's a lot of things closing from Epcot starting tomorrow. It's a little unclear exactly what is going to finish closing today, or close today. Originally, I announced a whole bunch of stuff, but it seems like some things like Penn Central might have been given a reprieve, but we do know that the Fountain of Nations is closing. Club Cool is closing. We'll be reopening in a new way at some point in the future. Fountain View Cafe, and some other things. Jeremiah Good, our Florida correspondent, will be there tomorrow, and we'll be getting sort of a eye of the dawn of the new age of Epcot, which really starts to kick off on October 1st. It's, what would that be, 37th birthday, with the opening of Epcot Forever, a new nighttime show which replaces Illuminations Reflections of Earth, and will feature music from Epcot's past, present, and future.
You said there was Doobie who asked the question?
Yes.
So,
Doobie Mozale.
So speaking of, if you don't know who Laughing Place is, Doobie is one of the co-founders. He and his wife, Rebecca, founded Laughing Place over 20 years ago now. The site just had its 20th anniversary.
So, Dubé, do you feel old? Let us know in the chat.
Dubé. Here's another corner piece. Where did we put the first one? I feel like it got lost in the
Here.
shuffle.
No, I was trying to.
Oh, okay. Whew. Puzzles should be stress-free. We'll keep reminding ourselves of that.
And then don't build one with Alex.
What?
You're not stress-free.
I am not stress-free. That's a true statement.
But I don't know if someone's in the chat, if someone wants to share what their thoughts are on Epcot. Let me actually get my phone.
Well, in Epcot, I mean, there's a lot of places to find Aladdin in Disney parks, but Epcot is one of the places where an Aladdin meet and greet is pretty much a given.
At the Agrabah Pavilion?
At the Morocco Pavilion.
That's not Agrabah.
Well,
It's not all the same, you know.
I'm aware. I think we're all aware. It's 2019. But, yeah, I mean, if you're looking to meet Aladdin and Jasmine, they're in Adventureland next to, well, at Walt Disney World, they're in Adventureland by the Aladdin Magic Carpets attraction, which is that the only Aladdin attractions that they've done? Is it the Magic Carpets at Disney World and Tokyo? Are those the only two?
Well, that are currently running. There was Aladdin, a Musical Spectacular.
Well, that is still alive, just not at California Adventure.
Right.
Which cruise ship is that on?
It's on the Dream.
The Disney Dream?
And nope, I'm sorry, the Disney Fantasy.
A fantasy.
Just got upgraded too. They put new.
To include Speechless?
I think just new like costumes and special effects. And...
Well, I think everyone would agree they would like to see Speechless in it. Speechless being the one new song by Alan Menken that made it into the final film for Aladdin, the new live action version. But on the Blu-ray, and I think they posted this bonus feature online, there was another song that they wrote that was cut. So you can find that on the Blu-ray or the digital release. Sorry, our dogs keep wanting to go out and in. But you can find that on the new Blu-ray release. It's actually a really good song. It's really short. It's under 2 minutes long. I can't fathom why it was cut because it didn't stop the story by any means. And again, it was not a long song. So I can't imagine any audiences in a test mode getting restless, which...
Just Speechless. See what I did there?
Well, Speechless, I mean, Speechless, it's cool how they split it up into two parts. Whoops, I dropped a piece.
Uh-oh. Well, there's the
Down
end
by
of
you.
that.
That's the end of our puzzle build. It's over now.
Vetter Michael says this looks intense.
Yeah, this is a 1,000-piece puzzle. And we got 6 of them from Ravensburger. So we are going to, over time, build all 6. And it's actually not the most intense puzzle I've ever done. What about you, Fanboy? I'm thinking we're gonna have to start laying out pieces off.
I think the most intense puzzle I ever built was the Puzzle of Life.
The puzzle of life.
Mm-hmm.
Metaphorical.
Yep.
The most intense
That's me.
picture puzzle that I've ever done.
Oh.
It was, I want to say 4,000 pieces. It was for The Wizard of Oz, which I've always been a big fan of, and it was like a collage. It was all laid out on the yellow brick road, and then it was different pieces from the film. So it had like the witch's broom and hat, the Tin Man's heart, Dorothy's basket, and the ruby slippers. And so it was like lots of little trinkets laid out on the yellow brick road, and probably 50% of the pieces were yellow brick. And it was several thousand pieces. In the end, we did frame it. We got some shellac and painted it over, and then framed it, and that's in my parents' basement back in Wisconsin. It's a beautiful puzzle. I have very fond memories. It took us a long time to build. You know, we as a family would kind of spend time working on it in little bursts, probably throughout the course of a month. But in puzzle building, I feel like that's the best way to do puzzles, like rather than trying to do them all in one sitting, like we are doing now. Because
Well, we don't know that for a fact.
we are going to try our very best to get this done for you today. We'll see. I'm optimistic.
Can you show the puzzle picture again? That's
Yeah.
a good point.
here we go.
So, because right now you can obviously tell what it looks like.
So
it's
yeah,
like a lot of mini little frames inside a big frame.
and if you've played the Disney Villainous board game, it's mostly cards, and then there's the little fold out boards for each of the villains. And so the artwork in the puzzle is all from the Disney Villainous board game. So it has the Disney Villainous branding up here. So these were all some hero cards, some item cards, and some what do they call it? Henchmen or your little allies, yeah, your allies. Because in the game Villainous, you're playing as a villain, as one of the Disney villains, and the original game had 6, and then they've done 2 expansion packs, each of which had 3. And what's really cool about the board game, especially if you're a really diehard Disney fan, is that they have done a couple of deep dives. The original board game included Prince John from Robin Hood, and then the most recent one had Ratigan from Great Mouse Detective. I mean, if you ask me to lay money on who would not be included in one of these games, I would say Ratigan's probably up there. But it was really fun playing as him. And the second version had Yzma from The Emperor's New Groove, which has a pretty rabid, small fan base, but amongst kind of your average Disney fan is not, I don't think, still well regarded. Do you agree, Fanboy?
I think it's
grown in
gained in popularity thanks to like 80 million airings on Freeform.
Formerly ABC Family.
Yeah, formerly Fox Family, formerly the Family Channel, formerly CBN. But
how is the 700 Club?
It's what was I gonna say? Oh well.
We're talking about the popularity of Emperor's New Groove.
I think it's I believe it's part of the Soarin' over California cinematic universe. Huh?
Say what?
Well, actually Kronk got transported to a different dimension.
Oh.
And then he became a flight attendant and changed his name to Patrick.
Of course. Makes sense.
Little known fact, actually.
Yes. Oh, I found another part of Jafar. Boom, baby. That's from Emperor's New Groove. I don't know if you could tell.
So, because I am lazy, we're going to brand this as part of our 30 Days of Disney, which you can watch all sorts of Disney movies on Freeform, but not Aladdin. But every day we are posting an article or feature on something related to one of the 30 Days of Disney films.
Well, my first piece is supposed to publish today. Has it already, Fanboy?
Wally was posted today.
Wally was posted today.
Wally.
That's my first piece for that article series, but it's very much a group effort. So I think every Laughing Place writer is doing at least one? Would you say?
Most.
Most?
We have a lot of writers.
We do have a lot of writers. But because it's 30 articles, because we're doing one a day on a different film that's part of Freeform's 30 Days of Disney, we are going to have a lot to cover. So I've already gotten 2 pieces done. One is up right now. You can see Wally later tonight on Freeform. And actually, my recommendation for you, if you are a multi-screener, would be to have Freeform on while you're watching.
I would like to thank Ravensburger for giving us 4 pieces that were not chopped.
That was so kind of them. I'm sure that will save us a lot of time. Oops. And so the 6 puzzles that were put out are the 6 villains from the original Disney Villainous game. So you might see some of those other characters like Yzma or Ratigan become puzzles in the future. And puzzles are really Ravensburger's core brand. I know they do video games, but puzzles is kind of where it all began. They did that crazy, ginormous Disney puzzle a couple years ago. How big was that, Fanboy?
A gazillion.
It was a gazillion pieces. It wrapped around the room at Toy Fair. Like they had a little display room for it, and it curved and bent around the room, which was pretty incredible. Ravensburger also did that 3D castle a couple years ago, and it wasn't that hard of a puzzle build, but because it was a vertical 3-dimensional puzzle, it was a little bit complicated just to assemble everything at the end, but that one was a lot of fun. My mom got that for us for Christmas, and so with my family we were able to build that together, which was a lot of fun. And that one I've seen go on sale recently. I know last year, Amazon during Black Friday, they really deeply discounted that one. So if anyone's interested, go check it out because it's probably a lot more affordable than it was before.
So, Alex,
Fanboy.
the inquiring minds want to know, what is the most romantic Disney film?
Animated or otherwise?
They did not specify.
Well, I am a big fan of Enchanted. I find that one to be very romantic and not.
Which happens to be animated and otherwise.
It happens to be both, yeah. So I think it qualifies with whichever way you wanted to ask the question. But I love that one, especially the way it starts off and Giselle's just wide-eyed and bushy-tailed and thinking she loves Edward because he's handsome and a prince, and they're ready to get married right away without really knowing each other. And then over the course of her New York City adventure, she really discovers kind of what love really means. So I would say Enchanted is probably my top one overall. But obviously there's a lot of them. I think Beauty and the Beast and Lady and the Tramp are really good choices for like a romantic date night or Valentine's Day. A Valentine's Day Inn, which is how I prefer to do Valentine's Day because I don't like crowded.
People.
Well, it's not that I don't like people. You don't like people.
I hate people.
I don't like when, it's really hard to get a table or reservation and you have to wait a long time. And that's really what Valentine's Day becomes. So to me, I would rather like make a nice dinner at home, kind of theme it in. Lady and the Tramp's an easy one because it's spaghetti and meatballs, and I don't care what your cooking skills are, you can pull that off. So I would choose that for like a romantic date night. But Enchanted is one of my favorites of all time. I love it for all of the different references. I was actually just thinking about it. We were in Central Park last weekend. We were in New York to see, we saw a couple shows, but among them we saw the new Hercules stage tryout or adaptation.
Well, just a
Public Works.
public works production.
But it had new music from Alan Menken, and
He was there.
he was there. It was kind of surreal. We locked eyes for a moment, and then he averted his gaze as I was about to congratulate him. He's not rude. It was just, he was in the middle of a conversation. He looked at me. I looked at him. I opened my mouth, and he had already turned his attention to the conversation he was still in. But it was, there's new songs, and it to me, it felt like either it's destined to be licensed or kind of like with Aladdin, back to our theme. With the Aladdin Broadway show, I want to say they did like 10 or so different productions of it leading up to it finally becoming a Broadway stage show. And James Monroe Iglehart was in quite a few of them. He was in that Hercules production as Phil, which was really fun to see him again. We saw him in Aladdin pretty early on in its run on Broadway, and obviously his popularity has grown. He then went on to Hamilton. If you're a fan of the Netflix show Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, which makes a lot of Disney references, he's in that as Titus's arch nemesis. And then also, kind of back to Disney and the fact that we cover all of their brands, he wrote a Marvel comic.
Yep.
And he's on the which Marvel podcast?
This Week in Marvel podcast.
He's on the official This Week in Marvel podcast, which is
co-hosted by friend of LPP's
Ryan Penagos, Agent M. What is the M in? Is it Agent Marvel? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the story, the dirty backstory of Agent M. I guess like they were trying to do this like spy kind of theme for like blogs on like it was supposed to be like your spy inside Marvel, and it just kind of caught on.
So, and then, talking about how we do cover anything that's Disney IP related. IP. Freely. We went to see the Moulin Rouge production. So Moulin Rouge is a 20th Century Fox film that Disney acquired in the Fox acquisition. And this production was in kind of, well, they've been workshopping a stage version of Moulin Rouge for over a decade. It had like professional productions outside of New York before this, but this is kind of a brand new New York production. The soundtrack is out right now. But because Fox owns it, and Disney now owns Fox, it was branded as being licensed by Disney Theatrical, which the other credits that were listed as being in the works by that division of Disney Theatrical include Mrs. Doubtfire, so one of Robin Williams's. I think it was that. I think that was his first film after Aladdin came out. He really had a couple of fantastic films in the early '90s, all back to back in a row. And then Jumanji was towards the end of the '90s. I think Jumanji was '97. But so Mrs. Doubtfire is being produced as a musical for the stage. It's going to do its pre-Broadway engagement in Seattle this winter. And also The Devil Wears Prada is being adapted, and Elton John is doing the music for it, which I'm really excited for that. And then Disney Theatrical has Princess and the Bride and the Princess Bride. The Princess Bride in the works, which, like, ironically enough, Disney had already like paid for the stage rights before the Fox. The rights to it are a little funky. It's a co-production between Fox and MGM, but I guess Fox has the distribution rights for it. So Disney has the distribution rights for it now. So, and there's kind of a fun little history of Disney licensing Fox properties pre-acquisition, or even buying co-owned Fox properties. Like Lucasfilm I would consider as one, because they had the Star Wars film distribution rights before Disney bought Lucasfilm, and they kept A New Hope because that was the terms under which that film was originally released. And so with the Fox acquisition, Disney got all the rights to A New Hope back. But that's one. Avatar, the Pandora land at Animal Kingdom. Avatar is a Fox film. Trying to think of some others.
Well, you have the weird X-Men situation.
The bizarro X-Men situation, and Fantastic Four. But yeah, now we have the ability to do... Well, Disney. I say we like we are the company.
Kind of.
We just cover them. But yeah, it's all kind of interesting how wishy-washy it all became. And then coming to Disney Plus, we will get some Fox stuff there too. I know The Sound of Music is one of the films that's going to be there. Oh yeah, that's right, Alien. They licensed Alien for the Great Movie Ride, which is a Fox film. Now Disney owns that franchise, which is kind of fun with Halloween just around the corner, because, you know, Disney hasn't had a lot of traditionally scary films in their canon over the years, but Fox definitely does. Disney does have a few, particularly I think through Touchstone. Arachnophobia is the one that kind of sticks out most in my mind. We are covering this whole entire table in puzzle pieces. This is a huge puzzle. I might need to pull out some snack trays to expand this.
Oh, I thought we were going to eat.
No, we've had lunch.
Second lunch.
Second lunch.
Fourth meal.
Are you a hobbit?
If it means I get to eat more, I guess.
Well, I love the Lord of the Rings films, but Fanboy is not a fan.
Not until we buy them.
Mm-hmm.
Which probably is going to happen.
You think we'll buy Warner Brothers?
We're going to buy everybody.
Oh. That'll be interesting.
The government won't even care, because they'll be like, you guys do a better job than everybody else.
Ooh.
Like they're still upset about the whole Spider-Man situation.
Well, and what is your, like, the Spider-Man situation as you understand it, Fanboy? How would you describe it?
Sony has the rights, film rights to Spider-Man. They didn't do a good job, so they went to Marvel and was like, help us. So they made 2 Spider-Man movies, and Tom Holland as Spider-Man was able to be in a couple MCU movies. And then through, I'm guessing, negotiation stuff, they decided that they would no longer participate in that arrangement.
Well, and the story that I've heard, and I don't know anybody like close to the situation to validate or corroborate any of the information, but what I heard is that essentially Marvel proposed that they share profits of the films 50-50, and the arrangement that they had before was such where Marvel Studios, i.e. Disney, makes the movie, and then Sony pays them for the movie, and after the money is made back for the cost to produce the film, then Disney was getting 5% of the gross profits. And what some fans have pointed out too is that Disney owns the merchandise rights for Spider-Man, so and Sony doesn't get any of that. So when a Sony Spider-Man film is successful and there's a lot of toy sales or merchandise sales around it, that's all like extra icing for Disney.
But I would also point out that Sony used to get merchandise profits, but they sold them to Disney because they were broke.
Sony was broke?
Well, they had a rough patch.
Okay. Well, so you know, a lot of the chatter that I've seen, a lot of people have been kind of negative about the way Disney approached the situation. And do you feel like it kind of sounded like they got to a point where like neither party was willing to negotiate any further? But do you feel like if they had tried a little bit more, that they would have come to a better agreement?
I think this is this is probably all just part of the negotiation process.
Do you think it could still
someone
change?
leaked it?
Oh, okay. So this wasn't...
It wasn't like they made an announcement.
Oh, what was the source on that?
I think it was Variety or Deadline or something like that.
Okay.
So, you know, there's still some gamesmanship happening, and
I figured it leaked because like Sony had like made an announcement like, hey, we're making our own films without Disney's involvement.
No, it was not like they didn't put out a press release or anything like that.
Okay.
I mean, they since the fact they haven't denied it and commented on it, but it wasn't. I think everyone suspects that Sony leaked it as a way to pressure Disney, but I think it kind of backfired because...
I mean, it seems pretty like 50-50 split of people saying, you know, Disney's to blame versus people saying that Sony was in the wrong. It seems like at the expo, a lot of the Disney fans that I talked to felt a little pro-Disney on it, but I think that's a little bit of, not really political, but some bias. Just because we're bigger fans of a certain company than we are of the other.
Is Disney's better than everybody else?
Disney's better than other companies.
You and me together will be...
I was doing Reindeer better than people, if you couldn't tell. If my pitch was off on all notes. We are so running out of table space for all these puzzle pieces. And this is, I mean, as we saw in that photo, this is a lot of black and a lot of gold border. And it probably seems like at least half the pieces feel like they're black with gold border. And we got this new camera mount to be able to do this kind of overhead view of the table. So this is the first time we're trying it, but this is as high up as it will go. I wish we could give you a wider view of the entire table. Here's a border. And what did you feel about the new live action Aladdin, Fanboy?
I liked it. I mean, you know, I don't know if it was particularly necessary, but I didn't have no problem with it.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. I saw it twice in theaters. First time to review, second time, I think, to take you so you could see it. And then now that it's out on digital, I've watched it there as well. And I find new reasons to like it every time I see it. I really like the actors, and I really like the way they did the music and kind of updated it, but also remained pretty faithful to it. Even the big thing that really bothered me in terms of like cinematography the first time I saw it was the way One Jump Ahead almost becomes like a music video where it's shot in a different frame rate than the rest of the film. And that has even warmed up on me as well. I like it a lot better now that I think I know it and expect it every time I see it. And I know a lot of people are a little bit ho-hum on Jafar, the character we're building this puzzle of in that film, that he is a much more subdued, calmer character. But I kind of think it made him seem almost more menacing. He's much more villainous and calculating in that regard. But there's nothing wrong with, I mean, I love the animated version. I just think that's very much a villain for an animated film. And if you did it that way in the live action film, I feel like it would have sort of, I don't know, I don't know if cheapened is the right word, but just made the odds seem a little bit less high, if that makes sense. And obviously, like, Robin Williams is really hard to top as Genie. Felt like James Monroe Iglehart had a very different take on the character for the Broadway show, and that worked. I think the one thing that I wish they would have done was gone in a little bit of a different direction with kind of the approach to the character in this one. There were several scenes where they used line for line dialogue from the animated film, and when you hear it, you just instantly think of Robin Williams, and they should have done something that was different enough where you're not going to keep recalling your memories of Robin Williams in that role every time something happens. I think that was one of the choices that I would have liked to have seen them do differently. But the behind the scenes bonus features on that Blu-ray and digital release are a lot of fun to see, especially the way they did the magic carpet is pretty exciting. They had kind of like a big foam pad on all of these tiny little pistons. And Aladdin and Jasmine, the actors who played them, they both were up pretty high in the air in a blue screen room for several days to film all of the magic carpet sequences, which is not just the whole new world, but also kind of the big climax. Because Jafar doesn't like it's weird. Like the climax of the film happens a lot faster in this one. He doesn't do the whole like slave Jasmine thing, which I think is a good choice for 2019. Probably would not have been received so well now.
Particularly in live action.
Possibly could have gotten the film a PG-13 rating if they had kept the costume for Jasmine accurate, because that was pretty revealing. And they were pretty, like, it was interesting. Like, they went more modest with her wardrobe in the film as well. In the original, she showed quite a bit of skin. I can't remember if her navel ever shows in this version. I wasn't really looking for it. And the only reason I know about that is like Walt Disney, when Annette Funicello started doing the Teen Beach movies, not to be confused with the DCOM series, but the like original Teen Beach movies on which that Disney Channel franchise was based. His one piece of advice to her, other than don't do it, was don't show your belly button. And she didn't, if you go back and watch any of those films. Other actresses do, but Annette's belly button was kept very private. We'll never know what it looked like. Probably really grotesque.
She's a flirkin, and like all comes out from the belly button. That's why Walt said it. It's not like he was a prude.
Since all of the Disney like park parodyable items have been turned into Twitter accounts, I feel like someone should do Annette Funicello's navel.
Get it before. Well, this is live, so someone probably already did it.
Cool. Go ahead. One of the looks like we have 4 people watching right now, so one of you hop on that. You're welcome. There is actually a Annette Funicello like parody account that I follow where
Really?
they pretend to be her, and like anytime something happens about like pineapple, they'll make a comment.
Because for all those times that happens.
I mean, pineapple's a pretty big fruit. Just gonna say. It's my favorite.
This needs to go someplace else because we have a semblance of a corner.
Ooh. We're gonna put it over here.
And then this is the other corner, obviously.
The one with the copyright Disney. That's the most attractive corner, by the way. Just so you guys know. In case it wasn't obvious.
And this will go.
Don't just bunch them all up. How do you know it's that way?
Because that's the base of this thing.
Oh, okay, because that is clearly, yes, I see now. Oh, I see. Tarzan. Oh, I see. I'm gonna move your phone to over here so we have more space. Hope you don't mind. Now, Peebo Bryson sings the Whole New World end credit.
Future Disney legend, Peebo Bryson.
So he's not a current Disney legend?
No.
That surprises me for a number of reasons. But I'm going to say the one that's probably on everyone's mind. If Christina Aguilera is a Disney legend for her one Disney end credit song, why isn't he a Disney legend for his 3 Disney movie end credit songs?
These are great questions. I wish I knew the answer.
For those of you who don't know, Peebo Bryson, legendary performer from the 90s, does the Beauty and the Beast duet with Celine Dion.
Mm-hmm.
He does the Aladdin Whole New World end credit duet with Regina Bell? I'm pretty sure. And then he does the... If I Never Knew You was John Cicada. Did he just have those 2? Or did he do as long as... I feel like Peebo had 3. All right, so we're at a point where we're gonna start trying to get all of the border together. And this could take some time because, as you can see, the border is a lot of little pieces. But I see that this one has, let's see, we've got over here in this corner, which is hard to see on screen, we've got the bottom corner of Jafar's staff already made. So we've got this little part right here. I see Fanboy also already found the part where the cup goes. So trying to figure out what else touches the border. Oh, you know what? It's up. It's got to be up along the side. It's got to be the top part of Jafar's sleeve. It's the only thing that could
Beauty and the Beast with Celine Dion, A Whole New World with Regina Bell.
Ooh, I am good.
That's
That's it?
Yep.
Oh, I could have sworn he had a 3rd. Who did As Long as There's Christmas?
Oh, maybe he did that. They probably didn't have a good music video of that.
Oh, maybe not. Okay, these are on the top because they've got the little parts of the little flames. Perhaps we have a misplaced.
I guess this number's not right.
What'd you say?
That number's not right.
Oh, that's not the counter? So on my phone it says only 2 people are watching. How many does your thing say is watching?
We maxed out at 11 so far.
11. Wow. Big money, big money, big money.
Although we don't monetize this, so you know.
Oh, no monetization. But still no music because we can get in trouble then. Do. And Aladdin is confirmed coming to Disney Plus on November 12th, the original animated, because it's one of the Walt Disney Legacy collections. And as Bob Iger said, every single Legacy collection film is going to be on the service. The live action films, or the more recent films, Fanboy, are going to have kind of a delayed release, is my understanding.
So they'll launch a Captain Marvel, Avengers Endgame will show up December 12th. And so the live action
Aladdin
will probably...
maybe like January?
Yeah, I would guess so.
I have a hunch that this goes somewhere in here.
Yep.
I don't think that's it.
Nope.
But it's going to be somewhere in there. I feel like there's got to be a border piece that's missing that has more of Jafar's sleeve. I'm going to let go of it for now because we've got other stuff to do. Let's see, this one could go here. Ooh, it does. Oh, yeah. That feels good. And we know this is a corner, but it's a corner for somewhere else.
It's either this or that.
Well, so we have the 2 bottom corners. So these are top corners. So it could be either side. Which one we do not know. Some of them you can see like a picture frame in part of the piece, so that kind of makes it somewhat, I don't want to say easy, but at least it gives you a guideline of what you might be looking for or working towards. together. Nope, that looks like it could, but it definitely doesn't. Oh, very nice. Ah. Nope. Some of these, because they're so small, the pieces look like they'll go together, but then when you actually get them lined up, you have to be really careful. Pay very close attention. Oh, that probably goes in here. Good job. What? You can tell we're both in deep concentration now because we got real quiet.
Since you brought it up, what are the most overlooked people that should be Disney legend? Vernon Felton.
Oh, yeah, Verna Felton, high up on that list. Bette Midler finally got it. She was the one I had been campaigning for a very long time. And she couldn't actually make the ceremony at the expo, which was a little sad. Weather related, not any diva issues as far as I'm aware. But my fan wish as a diehard Hocus Pocus fan, I really wanted them to do the trio of Sarah Jessica Parker and Bette Midler and Kathy Najimy at the same time. And anytime I would bring that up, people would always say well, what? They would tell me that Sarah Jessica Parker and Kathy Najimy have not made enough contributions to the Walt Disney Company to be legend status. And I wasn't gonna fight that. Sure. But now that Christina Aguilera is a legend, I'm going to say Sarah Jessica Parker was also in Flight of the Navigator. She made several films for Touchstone, and she's married to Simba. So there's her accolades. And then Kathy Najimy, in addition to Hocus Pocus, was in the Sister Act film franchise. Plus, she has made several DComs, including Descendants, where she plays the evil queen. So she plays a legendary Disney villain. And two of them, actually, because I'm including the Hocus Pocus witches in that statement. And then they could have performed together live on stage. Which would have been a really special moment for all of us, and we were robbed. Just so I feel.
All of us.
All of us. Every single one of us missed out. Just clutched from our hands before we even knew we could have it. But I mean, now that I know the likes of someone on the level of Christina Aguilera can get the Disney Legend Award, I'm just gonna throw a bunch of them out there.
Does anyone on the chat have any suggestions?
Well, and I will say a lot of we have a video up on our YouTube of Christina Aguilera's performance and her acceptance speech, where she credited Sound of Music as her favorite Disney film, and she's not wrong now, but she would have been. But
she wasn't wrong, but she had no idea why.
But she didn't know why. Ooh, got one. So, but that, I don't know. I guess now you could say any of the Mouseketeers from that era deserve it.
Well, really, any Mouseketeer.
Any Mouseketeer. And, yeah, it was, but I mean, I will say it was nice in the awards to still have, more behind the scenes Disney contributors get the award. Wang Ti Chow, did I butcher that?
Wang Chow. No.
Wang Chow. And then Phantasmic
Barnett Ritchie.
Barnett Ritchie. Both of them were really neat. But I think my favorite speech from this most recent Legend ceremony is undoubtedly Jon Favreau, who really tied it all back into Walt Disney. And I think he's such a cool person. I love that in the Jungle Book live action film, he brought back Fantasound, because that's the level of fandom that he's on. which was really, I appreciated that a lot. I don't think that's not going to happen. Stop putting things on top of things.
Stop telling me what to do.
First suggestion. Stop putting things on top of things. It's a terrible way to build a puzzle. Just a little bit of constructive criticism.
There's a lot of gold.
That's what I was saying. Like when you're looking at the pieces just kind of as a whole, it's an unnerving amount of black and gold. And that's what we're up for now.
Nope. There we go. At some point.
Yes, some point it'll go. We're not there yet. That is just a different way of putting things on top of things. So sequel-wise, do you expect Fanboy to see Return of Jafar on Disney Plus?
I expect Return of Jafar to be the live-action version to be released.
You expect a live action adaptation of Return of Jafar?
I do.
I hope your double whammy is up to snuff. Do they still play that at the Disney Halloween party?
You're only second rate. I don't know.
Well, and the original voice of Jafar, what's his
Jonathan
name?
Freeman.
Jonathan Freeman reprised the role in the Broadway show.
I think it's still reprising the role.
He's still there?
I believe so.
Wow. And so kind of on that note, when we saw Hercules in the park, the actor playing Hades was the original singing voice of Hercules. He didn't do the speaking voice, but he's the original singer of
He's no Tate Donovan.
It was just interesting to have, the singing voice of Hercules playing Hades. But that was really fun. And the show was fun, too. I really enjoyed it. I liked the new songs. They had a really fun one for Hades called A Cool Day in Hell. I think that was probably the one that, melodically stuck with me the most. And
it's also foreshadowing your future.
Foreshadowing my future?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Very, very kind.
I know.
Really tells me how much you think of me. And then, let me think, what were the other new songs, or who were they for? There was one that was just by the Villagers that was pretty forgettable. Did they have a new song for Meg?
Yeah. Don't ask me what it was, but
Can't remember. But when I Won't Say I'm in Love came on, the audience was about to lose their minds. And it came fairly late in the show. I think it comes later in the stage show than it does in the film. So by that point, people were pretty...
The big production number was still Zero to Hero.
Zero to Hero was an amazing way to end it. The muses were really what made that show incredible. And I felt the same way about the Disney Cruise Line, Hercules, the musical production, too.
I want to, speaking of Disney Plus.
You gonna pull out your most recent mail?
Where's our flyer?
Well, all the mail went over here. I did not think to pull that out.
In any case,
There you go. You can hand model our most recent mailer from
our
Disney
friends
Visa.
at Disney Visa. Thank you, Jamie Dimon. Sent us this, and inside are 2 codes. You can have a choice of $20 off 2 years or $40 off 3 years, and become a part of the Disney Plus Founder Circle.
Are you a Founder Circle member?
I am.
How does it feel?
Special. And you get a free digital poster of Lady and the Tramp. It's not as good as the Expo deal, but on the flyer, let me get to the other side so you can see it.
I hear you have friends on the other side.
Stream the best stories in the world all in one place. Endless entertainment, unprecedented access to the best content from the world's most iconic entertainment brands like Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, National Geographic, and more. Hint, the and more is Fox. Timeless classics. Relive your favorites with unlimited access to thousands of Disney movies and shows you love, now available for everyone to enjoy.
Everyone?
That paid $4 a month.
Oh.
Inspired by greatness, exclusive digital documentaries, unscripted series, and live special streaming. Live specials. That's new, right?
Yes? Think?
We did not know this.
Well, maybe you better, while I'm doing this, write something up.
And they're highlighting some of the original content that's debuting on opening day. Well, in addition to things like Encore and The Imagineering Story, the scripted stuff includes Star Wars The Mandalorian, their first original Star Wars series, High School Musical, the musical the series, also known as Disney Goes Meta, Noel,
Oh boy, does it.
a Christmas film starring Anna Kendrick, Bill Hader, and Timon, and the live action Lady and the Tramp.
Which is that what you're most excited for on Disney Plus of the new stuff? Are you more excited for Lady and the Tramp than anything else?
Yes.
We're dog people.
Yeah, this, not to get like too pornographic. I was gonna show you a copy of ESPN The Body Issue, but instead I'm gonna show you these beautiful, beautiful creatures.
This is our new cover of Disney 23. You gotta put it forward.
Nope, I have to put it like that.
Why are you keep?
I'm watching it.
Oh, you can see it on that one too, the actual camera.
There we go. I don't.
And that's in real time versus the other one that's on a delay.
Woo, woo. And then on the back, if you're into that,
Push it all the way forward. Ooh.
those are some pretty girls.
I
And
was
boys.
surprised there wasn't like a centerfold in the magazine of Lady and the Tramp for how
I saw her at the expo, and she's like
Rose.
so beautiful. Yeah.
newest movie star on the scene.
Although I hear there was some drama between her and Bullseye. Just saying.
Bullseye?
The Target dog.
Oh. Yes, the Target dog was at the D23 Expo. Was he nice? You got to interact. Fanboy. Was he nice or was he
Oh
kind?
no, he was a
Big
very
headed.
sweetheart.
Oh, okay, good. It's always nice to hear when they're
Now,
modest.
now I'm trying to think about like who we have to assign to write up the live specials on Disney Plus.
Oh.
I'm distracted now.
The joys of being an editor.
So, what kind of live specials would you want to see on Disney Plus?
Gosh, I would love, like, back in the 90s on Disney Channel, they would do like the full movie premieres.
Oh yeah.
I remember like the one for Hunchback of Notre Dame very vividly because it was so extravagant in New Orleans. They still live stream movie premieres, but like it'd be cool to see them on Disney Plus. Sorry for YouTube if they're losing it to that, but that would be cool. I think it would. I mean, one of the things I just wrote up for the 30 Days of Disney is they're going to be playing the theatrical production of Newsies. It'll be making its freeform premiere, and I think it's television premiere. And I would love it if they would do like live streams of some of the Disney theatrical shows, especially like if it's going to close, like live stream the closing performance. And that's really what they did with Newsies was they wanted to make it easier for other theaters to put it on. So they kind of like filmed it with the intention of making it available so they could have access to a quality production of it to kind of mirror theirs or model theirs off of. That's really why Freaky Friday became a Disney Channel original movie as well, was they had the stage production that we went to see in San Diego, and then they wanted to make it easier or more accessible for schools to want to put it on and have some demand for it as well. Now that it's a hit Disney Channel original movie.
Go just where you wanna go. Go squad here.
Is that the words?
I believe so.
Okay. That's exactly how it goes.
I feel like we're missing some.
It's a little unnerving. Yeah, I feel that way too. I felt that way several times where I'm like, I feel like I've plugged in to half the pieces.
Because like it doesn't feel like we have enough to make the whole border.
Well, I don't think this puzzle is ginormous, even though it's 1,000 pieces. The pieces are small. Let's see, I think it says the dimensions. Yeah, 70 centimeters by 50 centimeters. So it's not going to be gargantuan. It's going to fit on this board.
I was really hoping that we're going to have live specials, so I'm really pleased to see that.
That they will. I agree. That's exciting.
Do you consider this a... No.
No, something's not connecting straight across.
You know, it's hard to talk into a puzzle at the same time I'm learning.
A little bit. Where's the Jafar rating go? Oh, smack that in the middle. For a second, I was thinking it might go in that corner. Yeah, it does take some level of just pure concentration to find what you're looking for.
Find what you're looking for. Na 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 na.
Is this an original song?
Yeah, find what you're looking for. Na 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 na.
Being treated.
Na na na. You know, not everyone gets to hear Fanboy original.
That's true. I've heard my share.
Which is your favorite?
That's not for here. Fanboy originals are often very inappropriate. Finding a lot of green pieces. I'm just going to try and do something else because I will otherwise go insane and I will take you with me.
Insane in the membrane?
Insane in the brain.
Eugene says, Dubé says that maybe the first live special will be a puzzle build.
Oh, yes, a Disney Plus puzzle build. You can see it now.
We want our 10%.
Off the top.
We need points.
What does that mean when they say like 10% off the top?
It means off the gross, not the net.
Thank you for the industry reference.
You're welcome, sir. It's a special kind of thing you get on our puzzle builds.
Ooh. Puzzle builds, when you first told me about them, I said, who would watch that? And then we looked it up. We saw it sometimes. A lot of people watch them.
It's less messy than doing it yourself.
I suppose. Ah, I think this is going to connect here.
I think so.
Yeah, with that very piece. You're humming a real song. What?
As opposed to those fake songs I'm always humming.
Well, I just assume if like YouTube says, hey, that's a song, you can't use that. You get in trouble. Terribly.
So I gotta figure out which frame this little doohickey is in. It looks like it's this one on the side. So. Do you have a favorite Disney villain?
Yes, mine is Ursula. I mean, I'm a big fan of Little Mermaid in general. I just really like that character. She's so over the top and campy and fun.
What?
What? What about you?
I think Maleficent is just remarkably evil. Like the original, not the...
Oh.
Not the... Let's humanize her.
I was very confused. I was like, oh, really? You didn't strike me as a Maleficent 2 Electric Boogaloo kind of guy.
I'm kind of hoping in the new sequel they make her a little bit more evil.
I mean, it seemed that way in the little clip that they showed at the expo.
Little clip.
Little clip of Maleficent 2.
Little clip.
Little clip Maleficent 2. Little clip. Little clip.
I'm finding myself analyzing a lot of frames.
How does it make you feel?
Famous.
Famous. You're so famous.
Ollie, ollie, action frame.
You're so famous.
Mysterious to me. Go famous.
Go famous. If you could be so famous.
If you go. I think we're getting close to the bottom row.
Do you think there's any chance that the original, like Bob Saget era America's Funniest Home Videos will end up on Disney Plus?
We can hope.
I don't know why, but I have the like old school theme song stuck in my head
The
right
red, the white, and blue.
now. The national anthem.
The funny things you do. That's probably not a copyright issue because they probably didn't bother to, copyright that song.
Oh, really? You think that song in all the years of it being on TV has not been copyrighted?
Just guessing, based on what I know.
Oh. What do you know?
Not a lot.
Oh, okay. Well, that explains it.
That explains a lot of things.
Really? Really does. I've cracked you now.
Let's see here. Where do you think this goes?
If you see any pieces of Agrabah, give them to me.
There's a party here in Agrabah.
Do you think Aladdin and the King of Thieves will be on Disney Plus?
No. Do we think this
No?
goes here, or
What about Aladdin?
do we know this goes here?
We know it goes near because this is the frame of the picture that is in this. So let's get it connect. That's like the top piece of this frame.
So that means this has to be here.
That has to be that's definitely the upper right corner. But we're not, like, this is far down. Like, these pieces will be down here in the future. Fanboy probably doesn't know it, but we actually have an Aladdin Scentsy on the warmer right now.
I don't smell anything.
You don't smell anything? This one is called Prince Ali.
Fabulous heat.
Fabulous Heat, and it's kind of one of the more masculine scents that they've done in the Disney themed collection.
Popcorn or churro?
Uh-huh.
Lion King live action or Lion King 1.5?
Oh God, what a weird popcorn churro. Someone asked this?
Yes.
It's been at least it's been probably almost 10 years since I've seen Lion King 1.5, but I have very fond memories of it, and I think I'm gonna say Lion King 1.5. It's so funny. There's some very dated jokes in it, though, particularly like because it was made straight for DVD. Like they reference the fact that it's a DVD multiple times throughout.
My Sunny Saga says that he or she saw Tom Bergeron at the D23 Expo. What was your favorite non-dog, good quantifier, celebrity sighting?
Oh, from this last expo. Oh, I know. This is easy. Hillary Duff with the with the announcement of Lizzie McGuire, because that was like that was a shock. The rest of them you could kind of anticipate and expect. Like I was anticipating that Chris Evans wouldn't be there, who probably would have been mine if he had been. But knowing that he's done with Captain America, or so we think, I jumped out of my seat at the Disney Plus presentation when they brought Hillary Duff out and announced that Lizzie McGuire is coming back.
I just thought she was there for like a Simpsons promotion, like she was the new face, like the deaf girl.
There was a lot of Duff at this expo. I really wish I could have gone. I'm a big Simpsons fan. I really wish I could have gone to the Simpsons presentation. We did have a writer there, and Mike Celestino wrote a piece about it. So if you are a Simpsons fan, you can go check that out on laughingplace.com.
I'm trying to think who my favorite. Well, I saw Kyle Burbank and Doobie Mosley from laughingplace.com.
Oh,
That was a
wow.
big deal.
Exciting. Big find.
Main Street Moments wants to see the puzzle. It's been a while.
Oh yeah, we can. Hello, Lee. This is a Disney Villainous puzzle from Ravensburger. They're the ones who make the Disney Villainous board game, if you're familiar with it. And so from the first release, they took 6 of the original villains in that game and turned the artwork from all the different cards into kind of a mosaic puzzle piece. So that's what we've got here. We're doing Jafar, by the way, because Aladdin is coming out on Blu-ray, DVD, 4K, and it's already available on digital this Tuesday. So this Tuesday, September 10th, we've got, hello, Kelly. Thank you for the encouragement. So live action Aladdin, animated Aladdin are both coming out this Tuesday on Blu-ray. And so yeah, we're excited for this. Aladdin is joining it as part of the Walt Disney Signature Collection release. This version of Aladdin is going to be a launch day title on Disney Plus on November 12th as well. Live action Aladdin will hit Disney Plus probably in early 2020. Seems like they're doing, what would you say, like a 3 or 4 month delay from home video release to when it'll launch on Disney Plus.
Yeah, like the Netflix delay.
Yeah, because they're doing Captain Marvel is going to be like the newest film on Disney Plus that was a theatrical release, not counting all the original content, when the service launches. And then they've announced Avengers Endgame will debut sometime in December. So this came out a little bit after Endgame.
5 months after the, no, about 7 months after the movie comes out.
On video?
No, theatrical.
Theatrical? Okay. Yeah, so that's about the release window that we're looking at. And Villainous, the board game, we have all 3 versions of that as well. So this is the original version. The puzzles that they made were all based on these 6 villains, which are Ursula, Prince John from Robin Hood, Queen of Hearts from Alice in Wonderland, Captain Hook from Peter Pan, Maleficent from Sleeping Beauty, and then Jafar from Aladdin, which is what we're doing right now. And then the villains that were added in the 2 expansion packs, let's see, I've got those over here. Let me pull those out real quick. The first expansion pack that they did added the evil queen from Snow White. She was the main character on that. Then it also included Hades and Dr. Facilier. And then the new one that came out not that long ago, over the summer, right around the time Lion King came to theaters, was this one. It had Scar as kind of the main villain. Then it also included Ratigan from The Great Mouse Detective and Yzma from Emperor's New Groove. And both of those characters are really fun to play as. One of the really cool things about the board game, too, is that each villain has their own objective. So you're really trying to be the first villain to meet their objective, and then you win the game. And throughout it, you can thwart the other villains. So you're trying to kind of stop them from beating you at their own game. It's a lot of fun. Don't play it right before bed, though.
Cam's Corner Pixar fan and Disney family. Thanks. Well, thanks, Cam. Appreciate the support. We hope you. I really like how your picture is of the Mickey's Fun Wheel or Pixar's Pal Around. You can't tell because the Pal Around still has Mickey's face on it. It's confusing.
A little bit.
And I still call it the Sun Wheel because I'm old.
Well, you are.
I'm so old. I'm like the Crypt
You're
Keeper.
like the Crypt Keeper.
Do we own that yet? That feels like a franchise we will own eventually.
That is from Freaky Friday.
No, like the Crypt Keeper.
Oh, the Crypt Keeper. No. Sorry, I forgot that the Crypt Keeper's a thing outside of that one reference in Freaky Friday.
We obviously do not lead sheltered lives.
I live in a bubble. It's real protected and insulated, and that bubble is wrapped around bubble wrap.
Ooh, My Sunny Saga has a good question. What Disney movie do you wish would receive the 1.5 treatment? Like The Lion King.
Oh.
Perhaps Snow White's story from the Seven Dwarfs perspective.
Huh. That's a
Ooh,
good
that's a
question. Gosh, I'm going to have to think about this one.
Oh, let me think.
Are we sticking in the animated universe?
I don't know.
And are we only doing, like, films that originated at the Walt Disney Company or things that we acquired?
I think we can give different answers.
Well, if we're going different answers, I think it would be really fun to see Home Alone from the mom's perspective.
Oh.
Like the whole entire film, just her, like, everything else that probably happened in between her ride with the polka people and selling off her watch to that little lady.
I am pretty sure mine would be Little Mermaid, as told through the perspective of Max.
Okay, that's cute. I do love Little Mermaid. It's my favorite animated film, but favorite. I have two. You can have two. It's okay. Little Mermaid and Peter Pan are my two favorites.
Animated features and husbands.
But not two. But I would say because Little Mermaid had the series, and I feel like we got so much spin-off mermaid content, I'm tempted to go with something that's a little less.
Good.
No, not necessarily good, but a little less like. What's the word? What's the Eisner word? Synergized. A little less synergized.
Synergy, oh synergy.
You're a Synergy fan, right, Fan?
Oh, I love Synergy. That's why I love the Christmas parade so much.
The
It's
Christmas
like a Synergy fest.
What happens in it that's so?
They just like find
synergized
every
for you?
chance they can to promote some random Disney franchise. Like for some reason, the star of Kyle XY was there every year for like half a decade.
You mean the ABC Disney Parks Christmas Day Parade?
I mean the broadcast.
Okay. Sorry, I was thinking of like when you go to Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. I was like, what is he on? I'm still thinking of my answer. I haven't forgotten.
Popcorn or churro? Incredicoaster or California Screamin'?
I'm an Incredicoaster kind of guy. I really like what they've done. I know some people aren't fans, but I prefer to have like the visuals in all the tunnels that you go through. I think that's really fun, and it's more than I thought it would be. Like I was expecting it to be very. I was expecting it to be just an onboard audio enhancement, and it's more than that.
I'm gonna go with Incredicoaster too. But here's another question: King Triton's Carousel or Jesse's Critter?
King Triton's Carousel, because the upside down otter was funnier than the rattlesnake's tail.
I'm just okay. This is gonna get a little PG, but King Triton's nipples kind of frightened me. They were gigantic.
Those were a highlight of the ride, to be honest. Going, just waving at the nips every time you come around.
They were larger than they should be.
Well, and I saw on Twitter that if you go to the lobby of the Paradise Pier Hotel, they have one of the King Triton's Carousel.
They do. I've seen that.
Not horses, but figures in there.
My Sunny Saga says Critter Carousel all day.
Yes. Oh, really? Well, I mean, it's cute. It's cute. I don't. A carousel is a carousel, but I really liked the. I thought there was something kind of majestic looking about King Triton's Carousel, but what really always got me about him was just there's an inappropriate-ish one in both. And I think I prefer the inappropriate riding the otter over the rattlesnake butt plug.
What did you just say?
I mean,
you know you're alive, right?
I do. I'm assuming we're all adults.
Tonic Shadows Disney News and Update says, greetings, fellow Disney members.
Hello.
If you could work any Disney, I believe he means to say attraction, what would it be?
I know it's probably more boring than I think it would be, but I would have loved to have worked Peter Pan's Flight.
Yeah, I worked that. That was awful.
Yeah, so I've heard, but I love that ride, and I would have loved to have worked that. I think Space Mountain seems like it would be fun, but from what I've heard, that one's actually kind of frustrating to work. And I think Lee, who's watching, had Space Mountain experience. That he can probably.
Cam's Corner says Indiana Jones. That
That's
would
a good
actually be a
one.
fun attraction because it's like I always like the cycle attractions because like you weren't just doing the same thing every 40 seconds. So like a Soarin' or even a Dumbo, although Soarin' was air conditioned. So Soarin' was one of my favorites.
Yeah, I remember when I did my interview and they asked me if I had any work restrictions, and I just said, I'm asthmatic. I'm allergic to a lot of airborne things, so I'd like to be indoors, and I was not, but it was fine. I loved working in the parks.
My Sunny Saga says I wanted to be a sublagoon mermaid, even though they ended before I was born.
You wanted to be chased down? Because didn't they have an issue? Like, isn't that
I don't
one of
know
the
if
reasons?
it's true or if that was like an urban legend.
I don't know. It's a funny story either way. That like allegedly, some rambunctious men tried to jump they basically jumped the rail and tried to swim to the mermaids in the lagoon, just for fun. Just to say hey.
Hey,
That's in Disney Theatrical's Moulin Rouge.
Baby gonna mess around.
Really can't think of an answer for the 1.5 treatment question.
Are you planning to check out the new Halloween show, Villainous, at Disney California Adventure?
Well, one of us has seen it.
I have. In a work in progress form, I have seen Villainous. So if you have questions about Villainous, ask them.
You're allowed to answer them?
I'm allowed to answer them.
Good.
But I don't... It's a complicated show. My emotions are... Right. Oh, it's the key.
That's just our demonic dogs.
My favorite Disney villain.
I think that's what I would want the 1.5 treatment to be. Would be a film from a villain's perspective rather than a sidekick's.
Oh, like Maleficent?
No, not in the Angelina Jolie Maleficent way. Actually, I'm kind of hoping that's sort of what Cruella is like, the one that they promoted at the expo.
Does this fit?
Looks like it does. It's a little hard to say.
I think we made progress.
We're getting somewhere.
What is Villainous? When's it start? What's it like? And will a lot of people enjoy it? Well, Villainous is the new version of World of Color that will be exclusively shown at Oogie Boogie's Bash, part of the special hard ticket event at Disney California Adventure.
Part of Halloween time.
So it is, it's a new version of World of Color, but it's told with a storyline.
Like a World of Color was supposed to have.
Shelley Marie is the protagonist. And she...
Isn't that the character from Disney Dreams on the cruise line?
No, that's
Anne Marie?
It's Shelley Marie as in, like, a play on Marie...
Mary Shelley.
Shelley.
Oh, okay.
And she has a choice at Halloween to whether to dress up as a Disney princess or as a villain. And so she tries to she conjures the magic mirror and she meets all the Disney villains who try and teach her what it's like to be a villain, sometimes to less than desired results.
Do they sing a song that's like, how to be a villain, how to be a villain?
How to be a villain is... No. So it takes some getting used to because it's the only nighttime spectacular I can think of that has such a strong through line. Like, obviously, Fantasmic has a basic story to it, but they basically tell you everything that's going to happen in the narration, because usually in Nighttime Spectaculars, plot doesn't read very well. You know, it's all about the spectacularness of it, not like character development. So I think that was, and obviously I saw a work in progress version, but that was my big criticism, was why they felt the need to, I don't know, just kind of overplay the storyline when that's not necessarily what people want.
How much do you think they're able to change it? Because this show was produced before World of Color ended up on its unintentionally long hiatus,
Yeah,
right?
well, I don't know. You know, I mean, something as simple as like an audio change can, you know, where they make it clear or something could really change that kind of point. So
Okay.
I hate to prejudge experiences based off of trial runs, but yeah. Will a lot of people enjoy it? I hope so. I mean, I want people to enjoy a Disney product, but I'm curious to hear what other people think. It's not bad. I just wish it was just, you know, and then they try and do like, I mean, because Fantasmic is based on villains, there's so many repeating moments, like Maleficent's transformation and Chernobog and Night of All Mountain, which is obviously just done so well in Fantasmic. I feel it is, you know, kind of a retread.
Were you a big fan of World of Color to begin with, though, the standard version?
It grew on me. I like it. I think I like it more than I like Villainous, but we'll see.
I'm taking a puzzle break to rub my dog's belly, by the way, in case anyone's wondering where my hands have gone. My dog assumed the position, and I can't say no.
Understandable. Understandable.
You know what would be fun for the Lion King 1.5 treatment would be Hercules from Pain and Panic's perspective. So that way it's still more like on the villain side. But I think those are really fun characters. It'd be fun to see kind of what they did in the meantime between when they failed at killing baby Hercules and when he actually came back into the picture. I'm sure there's a story there that we could all explore.
Sing me a story.
That better be on Disney Plus.
Better be, or else.
That better be. If you include only one thing, include Sing Me a Story with Belle. I'm guessing there's a lot of kids who remember that and would show it to their kids if they put it up.
I'm guessing there's also a lot of people who don't remember that.
Does anybody not remember Sing Me a Story with Belle? Comment if you are unfamiliar. And if you are unfamiliar, you really missed something magical.
Did you?
Yes.
Did you?
Yes, absolutely. You saw it.
I saw it. I saw a lot of things. I saw G-Force.
Because one of the things I really love about it is it took a lot of the classic shorts and like oftentimes not the Mickey-centric shorts, so the ones that really didn't get a lot of play, a lot of the silly symphonies or a lot of the kind of odd ones that were kind of one-offs, like the Pelican. What was that one? The Pelican in the Lighthouse. And like I first experienced it through Sing Me a Story, and then when the Leonard Maltin Walt Disney Treasures came out, I was experiencing them in their original form. But like they would reuse the animation and put it to new songs or kind of like children's songs that an actress portraying Belle would sing.
I saw them film it.
You got to go to a taping?
I didn't go to taping.
Okay.
They were filming at Hollywood Studios, and they were taping it while I was walking through the soundstage.
That's cool. I did get to attend Hollywood Studios taping as a kid. I could have attended too. So the new MMC, the one with Disney legend Christina Aguilera, we were there on spring break, and like before like Disney vacation reveals were a internet thing, my mom did one, and so for Easter we got baskets with like new MMC t-shirts and baseball caps and like all this new MMC merchandise. And she said, we're going to Disney World and we're going to see them film the new MMC.
Your mom was that organized? No one was filming?
Well, you would think. So little did she know it was spring break for us. It was spring break for them too. So we get to Hollywood Studios and like walk over to the back. Because I guess actually, I don't know. I don't know if she knew or if, I think she had talked to a travel agent because those were like pretty common back then. We still use them, but I think she had talked to the travel agent and they said, oh yeah, you just go and you go to the back of the park and they'll tell you if you can go to the taping. And so we went straight to the back of the park. This was back when like Star Tours and the Indiana Jones stunt show were the really hot items. And I just remember getting back there and like there being a little sign saying like the cast is on spring break. And I was like, no. But later I did get to see Brianne Leary of the show Disney Inside Out host a pilot for Animal Planet on one of the sound stages at Disney's Hollywood Studios, former Disney MGM Studios. And then she also, or no, it wasn't her, but it was Mark, what's his name? It was Nickelodeon, over at Nickelodeon Studios at Universal. We watched a pilot of a sports game show that never got picked up. That was hosted by the former host of Guts, who ended up on Glee. Mike O'Malley. So I have Mike O'Malley's autograph somewhere. It's probably worth a fortune.
He wrote that Margarita show.
Which Margarita show?
Margaritaville?
He wrote the Margarita musical?
Yeah.
The long-running smash hit Margarita musical, now on tour. I feel like that show would have done much better if they had like opened it and kept it in Key West.
Yeah.
That's where that show needs to be. Don't make the bass come to you.
So I feel like we're just one piece or so away from getting this connected to that.
I don't know, because where'd you put the box? You moved it because you're sitting where it was.
Oh, it's over there.
Oh, thank you. Because this flame that I built is small here. I think this puzzle is bigger than we think, Fanboy. Because that's the flame. That's the part of the picture it is. And that's the corner of this here.
Yeah, just there's only so many pieces left to make the frame.
It's true. You speak the truth.
Let's see. The Boo to You parade music is probably one of my favorite.
Yeah.
Boo to you
and you.
Boo, 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 boo. Were you particularly surprised by certain character? I'm guessing this is about villainous. Were you particularly surprised by certain character appearances? Perhaps a lesser used one.
Well, I mean, the Boo to You.
You didn't see Villainous.
I didn't see Villainous, no.
Oh, there was someone in it that I thought was random, but I can't remember.
Claude Frollo?
No, he's in everything Steve does. I don't know if it was the Horned King?
Trinabog's he's in Phantasmic.
No, the Horned King.
The Horned King from Black Cauldron.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That would be... Well, he used to have his own attraction at Tokyo Disneyland.
Yep. Operative board being used to.
I wish I could have seen it. There was a Horned King cosplayer at D23 Expo, actually.
I think there was also a Terran, whatever his name was.
There definitely was, with a Henwin.
Yeah.
And it was like the 1980s plush Henwin that they sold. Not the 1990s Beanie Baby Henwin that they sold when it came out on VHS.
Oh, I think I have that someplace.
I definitely did. It might be in a bin at home with all my other Beanie Babies, and I'm afraid to look at it.
Mini beanbag plushes?
Well, I had my Disney beanbag plushes, and then I had my Thai Beanie Babies, and I'm afraid to open it up to see if the spider eggs really hatched.
What?
Did you know about that?
No.
There was an urban legend that Beanie Babies were like full of spider eggs, and that like they were gonna hatch like in a certain year, like in the 2000s. And so like I think BuzzFeed did an article like based on that myth that said like the eggs are hatching. Like go check your Beanie Babies. So, and I'm assuming the Disney beanbag plushies had the same fate. But I had all the Black Cauldron ones. So I was born in 1985, and obviously I was too young to like know that Black Cauldron existed, but my grandma did scrapbooks for each of us, each of the grandkids, of the newspaper clippings from when we were born, from the day we were born. And so one of the things she clipped was the movies, like what movies were playing. And so I remember seeing that in there, that like, oh my gosh, a Disney animated film was in theaters when I was born, and it's called The Black Cauldron, and it's not available on VHS. And so I was kind of obsessed with it, and when it came out, I was really, really excited for it, and then really disappointed. But I had found out that it was based on a book series. So I had read the first 3 books in the Prydain Chronicles, so I really knew the story. It's just I would say I wasn't immediately disillusioned. I think I was still in kind of a like, oh, it's Disney, it's animation, it's a classic mode. So I think I professed to loving it the first couple times I saw it, and then like later I was like, yeah, it's not great. But I think it took me a little while to admit that to myself. I think it's kind of the like fan phenomenon that happened that happened around episode 1.
Oh yeah, I would definitely drink that Kool-Aid.
Yeah, like, oh my god, this is the best Star Wars film that's ever been made.
Popcorn or churro, and it's like a popcorn churro ice cream cone, I guess. Fantasmic at Walt Disney World, the original Fantasmic at Disneyland, or Don't Eat Fantasmic.
Oh, the like, okay, I'm gonna say original Fantasmic at Disneyland, but what I really want them to do is marry the original Disneyland Fantasmic with the Walt Disney World seating for Fantasmic. Put that show in that venue, and you'll have a perfect experience. What about you, Fanboy?
I'm partial to the original Disneyland, but that show is just so important to me as a kid that it's hard for me to say if that's just because it's the one I grew up with, or if it's actually I like it better.
I grew up with the Disney World show.
Well, that one's obviously worse. There's no question.
Yes. So like the first time I saw the Disneyland show, I was just immediately like, how is this so much better? I mean, I never thought bad of the Disney World show, but once you've seen the Disneyland show, it's really hard to go back to. And then when they changed it, I mean, it's still in essence the same show. It's not unworth your time to go see it. But as Peter Pan being one of my favorite films, I was really, really bummed that Peter Pan was replaced with Jack Sparrow. And then the other thing I don't love about it is all of Mickey's like sound reactions to everything.
Yeah, that's pretty weird.
It's really weird when he's just like walking around going, oh, oh, oh. Like, it's a bit much. So that I don't love. I don't dislike it by any means. It could be better. I feel like I need to switch to something else because I'm really having a hard time completing this border.
Nope. Dubé agrees with you that the Mickey stuff is pretty weird.
Oh my gosh, yeah. It's, I don't know why they did that.
Poor Brett.
Well, I mean, it's not, he was given a...
No, I'm just saying, yeah, but I'm just saying, it's like, can you imagine what the director's session was like? I need a little bit more. Oh!
That would be a pretty fun recording session to be a fly on the wall in. Well, that audio is from Japan, isn't it? That's what someone had told me.
I think the music is from Japan.
The music.
The Mickey is from, you know what I mean?
Okay. Well, when we'll be going to Tokyo for our first time.
Daniels.
Huh?
Will be Daniels.
Will be Daniels, yes. Will be Daniels. We'll be going, we'll be right back. We'll be going to Japan for our first time next month. But one of the things that is my understanding is the face characters speak in English when you meet them. but like Mickey and the gang in a show will speak in Japanese. Is that accurate to your knowledge, Fanboy?
Yes.
Is it like that way in Paris?
Paris is weird because they'll do like I went to go see a show there, and Merlin spoke French and Lumiere spoke English.
Oh, that makes sense. And you're Paris bound in the next couple of days, yes?
Yeah.
Or can you not talk about it?
I don't know.
Okay, well then we won't talk about it, just in case, just to be safe.
Doobie wants to know what your favorite single top moment of the expo was.
Oh, gosh, why don't you do yours while I think about mine?
Mine was meeting Dubé Mosley.
Oh, that was a treat. It's always a pleasure. Gosh, single favorite moment. I don't know that I can pick one. I think I'm gonna say the performance from the end of the movie's presentation. That was Idina Menzel, Kristen Bell, Josh Gad, and what's his name, Christoph, doing a new song from Frozen 2. And to be honest, ever since they showed us the footage, I've had one of the new songs, Into the Unknown, stuck in my head, which is funny because that song, like there's a melody in it that haunts Elsa that then leads, it's like the inciting incident for the whole story. And it's been haunting me ever since the expo. I can't.
Ooh, spooky.
It's a little spooky. I can't get it out of my head.
Spooky, scary.
Boys becoming men, men becoming wolves. That's from it's Werewolf Bar Mitzvah from 30 Rock, which is a Universal show from NBC, but Universal is the co-owner of Hulu, so I feel like it's connected in some way.
Dubé wants to know if there's anything you can say from your Frozen 2 trip. I believe the answer is no, right?
I can tell you that I had a Frozen 2 trip, and I can't say anything else until September 30th. So if you're excited about Frozen 2, I can share more with you on laughingplace.com starting September 30th.
At the beginning of the new year.
At the beginning of the new fiscal year. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year, Bob Iger. We should tweet that on October 1st, like at midnight. You should be like, Happy New Year, Bob Iger. Please do. You should compose it now and just like set it up to auto publish. Account for daylight savings time.
This puzzle's harder than it looks.
Well, this puzzle is monstrously hard. It's very much taunting and teasing us. I'm just trying to find... There's so many like little pictures of Jafar. I'm trying to find the Jafar mouth that goes with that Jafar.
What a mouth.
And the only Jafar mouth that I can find is like the crazy Jafar grin that he does when he's the like old man that takes Aladdin to the cave. I think this is it. Woo-hoo! Sorry, that was
It was a big moment.
It was a really big moment in this puzzle build. There's gonna be a lot of those little victories. Oh, this goes with this whenever we get to the portrait of Sultan. Here's the crazy eyes of
Behind these crazy eyes.
Of old man Jafar. Now I can't find his teeth. Cause
Neither can he. He's old.
oh. That was ageist. Take it back. Nope, that's a different picture of Sultan.
I am going to get this bottom row done if it kills me. And it might, rabbit. It might.
It might, rabbit, it might.
You
might, rabbit, you might. That's from one of Is that your favorite Looney Tunes short?
I don't know if it's my favorite short.
You quote that more than any
It's
other.
a good quote, but, you know, the character development's a little lacking.
What's the name of that short?
I don't know. I just Google, you might, rabbit, you might.
It's one where Bugs Bunny is thwarting some gangsters. And there's one named Muggsy. And he's trying to convince them that he's like on their side. And so he keeps doing things like, well, if so-and-so, like the police are there. And so he's like, if my friend Muggsy was inside, would I do this? And he'll like light a match and throw it in the oven. And like one of the guys is hiding in there. And then the police officer is like, you might, rabbit, you might.
Because all policemen are Irish. I don't know if you noticed that. They're not. At least in the cartoons.
I always thought they all were. Which, did anybody watch the most recent TCM Treasures from the Disney Vault with Leonard Maltin? Because they played The Happiest Millionaire, which has a really catchy Sherman Brothers song called I'll Always Be Irish.
Really? Catchy Brothers? Sherman Brothers? Catchy Sherman
yes.
Brothers song?
It's their one. Every songwriter gets one truly insatiably catchy song, and that was theirs. They'll never have another. To see this again. What are we looking at? Maybe we should start on the red glow, since I seem to have hit a wall with the green.
Here's the catchiest Sherman Brothers song. My wife says, "Tall Paul." I say feed the bird. I say feed the birds. It's not catchy.
Feed the Birds is very good.
It's good. It's just not, you know.
It's not like
Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow or anything.
Yeah, I think that's the kind of level that we're thinking of.
Small World.
The Baha Men version.
Star Spangled Man.
Star Spangled Man is really good.
No, that's not. I'm sorry, not Star Spangled Man.
Oh no, that was
Alan
Alan
Menken.
Bright New
Tomorrow
Futures.
Today. Yeah. Bare Necessities is not a Sherman Brothers song.
Oh yeah, that's a hard lesson to learn. It's the one song in Jungle Book that is not theirs, and it's really interesting if you ever look up the history of Disney's Jungle Book, because Walt was a busy guy, and so he wasn't very involved. He let the editors kind of have free reign on what they wanted to do with it. And then he was really displeased with the result. Yes, Walt Disney displeased by something. So he then retooled it, completely overhauled the production, kind of threw out the majority of what had been done. The one exception was that song had been written by Terry Gilkyson. Does that sound right, Benji?
Sure.
And
Fanboy, as the case may be.
What did you say?
Or Fanboy, as the case may be.
Or Fanboy. So that was the one song that ended up being kept in the film from that original version. I think on the Blu-ray release, I think they do talk about that a little bit. But it's always funny, Richard Sherman does get complimented because, they say the Sherman Brothers did the music for Jungle Book, and that's the best song in there. And
Mother's hunting in the forest.
That was Sherman. And so so they do get congratulated on that a lot, and then have to.
Dick Van Dyke even did that.
Congratulate
Sherman. He was doing a Sherman medley for a tribute to Sherman.
And he put it in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it happens. We're all human. Yeah, I feel like do you think that's the biggest like Disney misconception that's like commonly thought to
More
be?
so than Pocahontas made more money than Lion King.
Yes, more so than Pocahontas making more money than Lion King. Which, if any of you missed that at the top of the puzzle build, so Fanboy and Rebecca and I did a painting event last night at Painting with a Twist. It's one of those like drink wine and an instructor tells you what to paint, and you end up making something that's beyond your capabilities otherwise. So it was an Aladdin themed one last night. So that's Aladdin and Jasmine on the carpet. There's Agrabah, and then we've got the moon and kind of some stardust in the sky. So this is what we did last night, and our instructor decided to kind of throw out some Disney facts, which were more falsehoods than facts, to be honest. And the one that like made Fanboy almost crawl out of his skin was that Pocahontas was more successful than The Lion King, and that Disney spent more money to make it, and Lion King was not that successful in its initial release. And it's scratch that, reverse it, as Willy Wonka would say. Ooh, that version. Why'd you do that?
I like to throw some tension in our live stream.
That made me tense. That's the freeform version, or the version that Freeform loves to re-air in Halloween season.
This year they're showing Ghostbusters.
That's exciting. A Sony film.
Mm-hmm.
So all is well.
And a Treehouse of Horror marathon.
I am so excited for that. I've done my own. I'm a big Simpsons fan, so I've had my own Treehouse of Horror marathons in the past. It's a lot of fun to do. I highly recommend.
Can I see the box?
You don't need that. Has anyone ever tried to build a puzzle like without looking at the box? I know some people like to do that, and it seems like torture to me.
This is torture.
Jimmy to the wall.
Wow.
That's my Cheech Marin. Has he ever done anything more iconic?
Well, maybe Born in East LA.
I don't know that, but I know Oliver and Company. So what's that say about me or him?
Probably you. Does anyone else out there have a favorite Cheech Marin role? Spy Kids, maybe?
He's done actually like
Lion King?
yeah, he's done a shocking amount of Disney work.
I presume he's in Beverly Hills Chihuahua at some point.
Pretty sure you are correct. That would seem. It would be weirder if he wasn't.
Hurley's dad in Lost.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Was that Dubé?
Yeah, that was Dubé.
I think Dubé's the biggest Lost fan I know.
Well, at least in certain ways. Future Disney legend Cheech Marin.
More deserving than some Disney legends.
Put out there.
Not my Disney legend.
Oh boy.
Sorry. I had to. Nobody start that. Don't make that a thing. Oh, I found Aladdin's chest. And his shoulder. Missing his
His
neck.
Oh, here's his side face.
There could be more than one Aladdin. Like, there's so many Jafar, so you'll feel like you found a piece that's important, and then you plug it in, and it was Nene.
No, this is the right one.
This? Good for
Or
you.
not. Nope.
You're so wrong.
I'm so wrong.
How's that feel?
I don't know. But you should be familiar with it.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, welcome, sir. Is Raja in the puzzle? Spelled
Yes.
Incorrectly.
Um,
Yes.
Don't be such a spelling jerk.
Let's play word crimes. Yes. Raja is in the puzzle. He's right next to Jafar, like, giving this like face of like what?
I found one of his pieces several times, but I haven't found a place to put it.
You think in honor of Raja, you should? Never mind.
I don't know where you were going with that.
Yeah, it's probably for the best.
Okay. Then it must be pretty bad.
Just to comment on another video, that's fake.
Oh, yeah.
Are you more excited about the new long-term show coming to Epcot Nights or ready to see Reflections go? Reflections on Earth has dragged on me for a while. Now, granted, I saw it every night for quite some time for professional reasons, but
Work related.
I'm excited for Epcot Forever. I don't know. I'm Harmonious. I'm curious to see how I feel about it. I kind of feel it's like one of those. It's billed as one of those videos they show of like Disney movies sung in all the different languages. So I don't know if I hope there's more to it than that.
Well, I didn't attend the Disney Parks presentation at the expo, but when we were at the Mickey's 90th Destination D event at the Contemporary last November, they did play a song, or I guess a portion of a song from it, and I was really delighted with that for Harmonious. I am a really big fan of Illumination's Reflections of Earth, and it holds kind of a very near and dear place in my heart. I didn't have to live through it on a nightly basis like Fanboy did. And so I never really got tired of it. But I did the same with Wishes, and I still miss Wishes.
I hate Wishes.
You hate Wishes. I loved Wishes, and I don't like Happily Ever After better than Wishes. I know I'm in the minority on that. But I would add on to Illuminations. That was a celebration of Epcot history. And that was so good. And if the temporary show is anything like that, I think it's going to be really great. It's like, to me, one of the reasons I didn't go to the expo show was, well, I guess first reason is they were doing a Little Mermaid presentation, and I was more excited for that. But the other would be that I love Epcot so much; it's my favorite park, and I knew that this was going to be a very Epcot change-heavy presentation, and so I kind of decided that I would probably be having some emotional moments about it, and I decided to skip it. I'm not unhappy with any of the like things that are coming to the park. I just miss some of the stuff that's changing, or kind of the whole vibe of the park seems to be going in a different direction than what Epcot means to me, if that makes sense.
So here's a question: the sea, city or community?
You mean for Horizons ending?
No, for the sea in Epcot.
What was the question? I'm confused.
Do you think the C stands for community or city?
Oh, the C in Epcot. Oh, it's I say Epcot the theme park. It's community. Epcot Walt's vision would have been city.
Interesting take. Interesting take.
Because it's not a city. Like.
Oh no.
And at very few points does it actually try and tell you what to, like, It's more about how we interact as people, I think, is the message I get from the park. Like, that's really the whole message of Spaceship Earth, is how we communicate. And I feel like as other pieces of Epcot have fallen away over the years, that's kind of what was left from Future World, which will be no more.
Future World is gone today. Gone today. Dubay wants to know, how big will the Walt statue be at Epcot?
Massive.
I believe Dubay thought it was going to be like I was thinking partner size, right? Like life size.
Mm-hmm.
Dubay was thinking it's going to be like the Lincoln Memorial.
That is funny. I have a feeling that's going to be like the line to take photos with it will be, because it's like a sittable moment, and then I think there'll be people who like get there and just sit and don't think about that they're in the way of a popular photo spot.
I think so you know how he's kind of sitting there? I feel like they should have bird seed come out like every 20 minutes and he can feed the birds.
out of his his resting hand.
Yeah.
Do you know what you get when you feed the birds?
Fat birds.
Fat birds. Is that a parody Twitter account yet? Fat birds. I'm throwing out all my billionaires. Oh, why don't you show what you're drinking?
Coke?
Because it's what Mickey drinks. Is that why you drink
Unless you're
Coke?
in Hong Kong.
What do they drink in Hong Kong?
Pepsi.
I do like Pepsi. It's a little bit naughty, but I think I prefer the taste of Pepsi to Coke. Does that make
naughty?
Does that? It's very naughty.
Naughty boy.
That's from. Well, I mean, I'm sure that's just generic, but we get that from a Fox Searchlight film that we reviewed after the Disney acquisition. What was that one called? It was the fashion designer guy.
I think it was spelled ZZZZZZZ.
You haven't seen a single Fox Searchlight film that you've liked since the acquisition, have you?
No.
No. That one was up for an Academy Award, by the way.
I haven't seen them all, but...
You haven't seen every Fox Searchlight film?
No, you went to some without me.
That's true. For reasons of I had to review them and you weren't available.
Well, yeah, I mean, not bad reasons. What was the one that you saw, like Fast Times at Ridgemont High? What was that one you saw?
I did not see one called
With Jeff Bridges.
Oh, Bad Times at the El Royale. That's now on home video. That was actually good. So I don't do well with horror, but that one was kind of like right on the cusp of what I can stomach and sit through. And it was really fun because it takes place in the mid-century, and so it was just very.
2050.
What'd you say?
2050.
2050.
That's when it takes place. Mid-century.
Mid last century.
Uh-huh.
But it was fun. So like at one part they go into a diner and it's what's it called? Automat, which I've always wanted to eat at an automat. And then yeah, I mean the aesthetics of it are fun. I think people would enjoy that. And then there's murder. That'd be a good one to pull out this Halloween season if you want to incorporate some Fox into your Halloween movie watching.
Welcome to the 60s.
Oh, that's by the songwriting team behind Mary Poppins Returns. You're out of control. Oh, you put mail inside the box.
Someone's first name is Un, and their last name is Identify.
Oh. That's well, I know someone who was on Facebook kind of anonymously, and their Facebook name was Sam Plea, which was sample. But they're not really on Facebook. They're just Sam Plea.
Be depressed, be depressed.
What's wrong?
Disney cartoons are Broadway's best.
What's that from? Or did you make
I
this
don't
up?
know. It's from something. But not that clever.
I know. That's why I asked.
You're flat and demands and your heat isn't done.
Hey, what's the lyric that got changed? Like it was released on the soundtrack, but not by the time it came out on VHS, the original Aladdin.
They cut off your ear if they don't like your face. It's barbaric. But hey, it's home.
And what did that become?
Where it's flat and immense and the heat is intense. It's barbaric. But hey, it's home.
Which would you like better?
I like the original just because I grew up with it, not because I'm, care.
Pro having ears cut off.
Actually, I'm not against it.
Do you think was that a Howard Ashman line or a Tim Rice line?
That's a good question. I do not know.
I'd like to know.
How did you celebrate Lightning McQueen Day? Well, did you play the Hangman game? I wonder if someone can put that link someplace. I played the Lightning McQueen Hangman that Dubé made. Did you do something special
Did I do anything?
for Lightning McQueen Day?
No, I forgot that was a national holiday.
Oh.
Bad Disney fan.
What did you do on May 4th?
That I celebrate. But Lightning McQueen. Like, why is it Lightning McQueen Day? Oh, because it's 9-1
9-5.
or 9-5. Shows that I even know his number. I don't
Do
understand.
you get the joke? 9-5.
Yes, I got it. Thank you.
Which
It's like
come out in
it's like
1991.
June 26th.
Stitch Day.
Stitch Day, or what's the Monsters Inc. Day?
No, but you know why Lightning's 9-5, right?
Because Toy Story came out in 1995. But it's not like I don't think about it often.
There's a party here in Agrippa.
Cares about Aladdin or Jafar? Dory. Missy. Our dog is, well, we have two dogs, Nemo and Dory. Nemo came with his name. They're both rescues. Dory was surrendered having been found on the street, and she had no name. And
I was gonna go for Pretty Woman.
that you still color.
I call her all sorts of things.
I color all sorts of things. My top pick that Fanboy vetoed was Shimo. So we'd have Nemo and Shimo. But that did not win, and ended up with Dory. Which fits because she can't remember
How to be good.
how to be good. Anything you tell her, really. Just in
I'm
when
not quite sure if she can't remember or she just.
She chooses not to, I'm convinced. She's that level of...
As she likes to tell us, she's extra.
Oh, she's very extra.
I don't know what that means, but she's it.
She's so extra.
Extra, extra. Do you have the Sultan anywhere?
I have seen bits and pieces. I think this is a Sultan feather. I think this is a Sultan arm. This looks white and could be sultanic. I'm assuming that's how you would say it. He's sultanic. Here, I had put these two together. You're so welcome.
Oh.
Here's a little bit of teal that could be Sultan or Jasmine.
Cool.
Here's a little bit of feather that could be Sultan.
I don't think this is Sultan. I think this is Abu.
Oh. What's a blue on a boo?
He has that fake when he's dressed up as a Sultan.
Oh, okay. Well, I'd say that's still Sultan. I'm going to count it. This looks like it could be some Sultan.
No, looks like there's two Sultans.
Yes, I believe there are two of a lot of characters. And there's like a billion Jafars. But Abu as a Sultan is not something I see on here. Oh yes, there you go. That's correct. You are correct, Seth.
I know. That's Zora. What's your favorite show from the Hyperion Theater? How many have you seen? Two.
My favorite what from the Hyperion Theater?
Sure.
Yes, I have seen Aladdin, the musical spectacular, and I have seen Frozen.
I've seen Frozen, Aladdin, Power of Blast.
What is
and
that?
Two versions of Step in Time.
What is that?
Steps in Time was a medley show. It had originally had one without a plot. Then they added like a godmother and a boy who was a jerk, and through the power of Disney became less of a jerk.
Oh.
And then Power of Blast was like I don't know. You know, have you seen those like drum corps things? You know, like where they march and they spin things.
Like
It was
before
like
a
that.
college sporting football game?
My Sunny Saga brings back a quote that we quote often from Steps in Time. Don't cough in my cornflakes.
Who's spitting her bean
I
curd?
feel like if I don't know my Sunny Saga, we should be friends.
Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends? Why can't we? Yeah, I never saw any of those. Were those before Aladdin?
Yes.
Were these like dark times at California
Well,
Adventure?
so Steps in Time opened and people don't love it, so then they like added the plot to it, and then Power Blast was like the post 9/11 show, and then they decided they want to have a real show, so they made Aladdin.
By post 9/11 show, you mean something that was like very cheap?
I'm gonna make a theme song for my Sunny Saga. It's my Sunny Saga and me. Building a puzzle and living our dreams. My Sunny Saga and me.
Fanboy's theme songs are often very much about what he's doing right now. Go on, I didn't mean
My
to
Sunny Saga and me. Coughing in cornflakes and making up dreams. Sunny Saga and me. Do. That's it.
Great. Fabulous. Loved it.
I'm a regular Sherman.
Copyright it before someone watching steals it.
My Sunny Saga and me. I feel like it would have like a Perfect Strangers vibe. I'm stuck.
I'm starting to get on a roll again.
Doobie says it's as catchy as Feed the Birds.
Yes. Very.
What did you think, my Sunny Saga?
Is catchy. Move your hands.
Can you see the back scene?
Just move it over here. Just stop putting things in it. It's not it's storage for a puzzle, not everything else.
There's 3 sultans. 2 of them which have the same face.
In my day, we didn't need sultans, we had faces. It's my sunny side.
You see? Sunny Saga mentions that the fairy godmother was originated by Eden Espinosa. That is true.
Ooh, love her.
And
I got to meet her once. She was very nice.
I hear she's from Brooklyn.
She is on the Tangled series,
Oh yeah, that's right.
which I can never remember the new name of it.
Rapunzel's Tangled Adventures.
Why can't I remember that?
I don't know.
They made it very
You probably
difficult.
have like a mental problem.
Tangled, maybe. Tangled the series was, yes, I'm cognitively impaired. Thanks for making fun of my ability.
My Sunny Saga, who has yet to comment on my song, says, Alex, you made me miss the GMR finale.
Oh, I missed it.
Hi. I'm what's his face? Robert Odds.
You ain't seen nothing yet. We know, like, it's always funny when you haven't seen a film or you haven't seen it in a long time and it's in the finale montage of Great Movie Ride and then it comes on and like instantly you're back in it. If you're like me and rode that ride a lot. You don't, what? Happy optimistic. We've got to be like a third of the way there. What time did we start this?
2.
What time is it now? Oh my god, it's almost 3.
It's almost 5.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm clearly puzzle delirious.
GB asks, popcorn or churro, Superstar Lamo or empty building. I would like to point out that Superstar Lamo is not currently an empty building, but
but given the choice, I never got to see Superstar Lamo.
okay, I'm pretty sure my Sunny Saga is Rebecca Mosley.
Ah, makes sense. That's why she's quoting something that only you and her really quote.
My Sunny Saga and me, making your dreams come true.
I want to know if she has framed her art yet, or hung up her art yet.
That's art on top.
What'd you say?
Nothing. Ooh. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12,
16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. No, we probably have actually a lot more to go.
Yeah, we'll get as far as we can.
Oh, I think DB might be in trouble.
Why?
He used our secret code word.
Which is
I can't tell you.
okay. Empty building.
No, something else.
Superstar Lamo.
Ian wants to know, is that Aladdin? This is, well, it's a poster, it's a puzzle of Jafar, but it features Aladdin. It features one Aladdin. Only one Aladdin?
There's another.
Oh, no,
pencil.
two. Sorry, two Aladdins. Ooh.
What was your ooh victory over?
I got a piece and another piece. Can you recall a time Disney trivia helped improve your school grade? I know I spelled encyclopedia. I'd like to think that my school grades were always perfect, so that there was no improvement necessary. I do know only that part of the not a high up a dream speech where I have a dream this afternoon that the Brotherhood of Man will become a reality.
In this day.
With
In
this
day.
faith.
And then it fades into.
Move forward. Although I did get I impressed some teacher that I knew. Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. I ask the citizens of the world. Ask not what America can do for you, but what together you can do for the freedom of man. And they're impressed I knew the second part.
Ooh. I went to middle school. Knew the year America was founded thanks to Pocahontas.
I knew what year the moon landing happened due to
Being alive.
Even Stevens.
Oh yeah.
Not true. I knew it before that, but
They went to the moon in 1969. 1968, but the year after. Yeah, that song was helpful for me. I would watch Christy Carlson Romano at the Disney Plus booth to promote her past content coming to Disney Plus, which was funny because when I posted it, I think I unintentionally excited a lot of people in thinking that both Even Stevens and Kim Possible, the animated series, were somehow coming back. She did talk about her wishes and wants for kind of like an Even Stevens follow-up where Ren is now the mom and she wanted it to like gender swap where the daughter was the kind of odd duck and then the son was the all-star. And then
Game, Mom. Go play.
but she did say that like she's still in contact with Will Friedle from Boy Meets World, who was the voice of Ron Stoppable, and he would be game to reboot Kim Possible if Disney wanted to. So never say never.
Never too late.
Oh, that's such a good song. The new Elton John song from Lion King, which completely got overshadowed because Beyonce wrote an okay song for Lion King. But the Elton John song is the better song.
You see the other part of Aladdin's face anywhere?
No. Ren got enough. Ren got enough. This looks like it's the top of Aladdin's hair. Maybe not.
I already have all his head.
Oh, okay.
Oh no!
Why did you do this?
No!
Don't do it again. Oh boy. Wow. Fanboy, everybody.
I haven't yet read about the P&F. I believe that's Phineas and Ferb title coming to Disney Plus. Guys, what can you guys tell me? I know absolutely nothing, actually.
I know what they kind of pitched at the Disney Plus presentation, which is that it's what do I know? I'm forgetting right now. Candace, she does something like
Terrible.
she does something that causes like a rift in the universe, and then I believe it's Candace centric, like it follows her, but obviously Phineas and Ferb are present and have, I think, the ability to help her in the end. But
As they are prone to do.
yes, it looks cute. I'm excited for it to return, to be honest. I think when they announced that Phineas and Ferb was ending, because it had gone so far past the time frame that Disney Channel used to allow shows to go anyway, I think everyone was kind of disillusioned and thinking it would never end.
This is the Phineas that...
And then they ended it.
I wonder if I'll tie into My Little Pea Law at all.
Well, they've already crossed over, right?
Mm-hmm.
It would seem kind of weird not to at this point. see what this photo is gonna be. Oh, another Jafar.
Jasmine Bluesong says, this is cool.
Thank you. Assuming you're a Jasmine fan.
Oh, I see. I see what you're doing there. Jafar. Hi, Jasmine. Please let us know if you got something to talk about to distract us from this torture that is building this puzzle. I will make a song for you if you ask.
He's real good at it.
Mm-hmm.
They're catchy.
Can you guess the Disney attraction? Bird, palm tree, flower. I'm gonna guess with Walt Disney's Enchanted Tiki Room. So do either of you like the Walt Disney Treasures DVD series?
I have them all. In fact, one time Rebecca asked me if there was one thing I would like, one Disney collectible I would save in the event of a fire. Like I could only grab one thing. I would scoop up as many of my shoes as I could.
I would take my dogs.
And then, well, I'm assuming we're counting only like non-sentient beings in that, and that I've had time to already.
Then I would take my brother.
Been a bunch. So, Leonard Maltin has always been somewhat of a hero of mine, in large part because of those treasure sets, and I always really looked forward to them. They were usually my big Christmas gift from my parents. Each year was the whatever the newest wave was. Let's see if we were hoarding any pieces that I've been looking for over here.
See any Abus?
I think no, that's different.
Ryan says he wishes they would make new Walt Disney Treasures. So do I.
Same here. That would be amazing.
But maybe we can tease it. You should pay attention to laughingplace.com for an upcoming project that you might be interested in.
I don't know what we can say, so.
That's why it's a tease.
I say nothing. Here's the mouth of the Cave of Wonders, if that ever comes into play. I found a tiny little genie. I feel like that's the only bit of genie in this whole entire thing, which would probably make Robin Williams happy, because He always wanted Genie to be like really small on all the marketing. Here's a booze hat.
Disney live action movies. We're very partial to Lady and the Tramp on Disney Plus.
Who is that? What was the question?
Oh, Jasmine Blue Song asks, what do you think of all the new Disney live action movies? Some are good, some are bad. I think it's just like anything. I think the Disney films themselves, the classics, are usually based off of other tales of similar things. So I'm not against reinvention, but you gotta do it good.
I really enjoy. I think the Jungle Book, the Jon Favreau Jungle Book, is my favorite one that they've done. That one I really love, and I feel like it. I almost feel like I like that one better than the animated version. It's the only one I'll say that, give that kind of accolade to. I liked Lion King. It's they didn't change much or take many liberties with it, so I get that criticism of it, but I enjoyed it. And I would say Cinderella I felt a little underwhelmed by. I think you did too, Fanboy, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. The Lily James version, I just felt like they could have done more with it. And I've seen so many different adaptations of Cinderella. I felt like they didn't really have much to add, or they weren't bold enough with it, I would say. I don't have anything against them. They have certainly like dominated what Disney's live action output is, which is a little bit of a shame, but that's part of why I'm so excited for Disney Plus, is because we're actually getting kind of the typical live action, not huge budget films again. I'm excited for Stargirl. I think Timmy Failure looks really funny. So I'm excited for a return to that kind of filmmaking from Walt Disney Studios via Disney Plus.
Ryan says, I guess aware that Disney legend Haley Mills is going to be in New Jersey for an event called Chiller Theater at the last week in October. Nope.
I wasn't aware. I wish I could go. Chiller, I mean, that sounds like almost like a horror film kind of thing, or a genre that I don't think she's had much involvement in, if I'm not mistaken. I have explored some of Haley Mills's non-Disney work or post-Disney work, and some I was familiar too as a kid. But like there was a Universal film that she did with James MacArthur from Swiss Family Robinson that was available as like a print-on-demand thing. I think I got it on Amazon, but it was really underwhelming. It was not a good film. But I was just like, star power alone, I had to see it, and it wasn't available streaming or digitally. I do love Haley Mills.
She did a few horror films in the 1970s.
Oh, good to know.
Like Good Morning Miss Bliss.
Good. No, I love Good Morning Miss Bliss. Oh, I love Saved by the Bell. That's interesting. I wasn't aware that she had a horror film career. I know she's done a lot of theater too. She did a podcast, an episode of Leonard Maltin's Maltin on Movies podcast, which he does with his daughter, Haley or Jessie, and they've done a lot of Disney-centric episodes of their podcast too. So I definitely recommend checking out Maltin on Movies if you're a big fan of kind of classic Disney films, because they do a lot of interviews with some luminaries that have been involved. They did Angela Lansbury. They've done some animation folks too. I think Don Hahn did one recently. I think we should wrap it up. We can wrap it up.
So
go when you go.
I think we're gonna wrap this up for the moment. We are obviously not done, but we have another Disney event we need to go cover. And
this took longer than we thought it would.
Yeah. So darn you, Gold Border. We look forward to finishing this at some point, and we will update you when we're ready for that. So thanks so much for joining us, and we will see you later.
Bye, everybody.